Hello everyone, Tymerover here. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Today we are going to start a new series for a game called Software Inc. Now, if you're not familiar with Software Inc., it is a sort of a simulation, a software business management simulation game. And it actually has been out for some time in Steam's early access program. I believe it was released in, I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken. But I've only just recently found it, and it is actually really fun. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at it today. Now, if you are interested in getting this game, it is on Steam, like I said, in early release, and they're currently on Alpha 9, which is what we're going to be playing here. However, Alpha 9 is in the beta area of Steam, so if you do purchase it and you download it, understand you will be Alpha 8 by default until you go in through your game library properties for Software Inc. and then choose the beta for Alpha 9. Then you'll be able to be on the same version as I am. But otherwise, we're going to be working on Alpha 9.10. I think point 10 was released last month, again, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, let's jump right in. So I've gone ahead and named our studio up here. We are Tyme Studios, and our founder is going to be Scott Tymer, who is essentially me, the player. This is what we're going to go ahead and look at here. I guess I can't move them around, but that's what it is. So I've gone ahead. You can change different personalities here. You can mix and match different things, and each one gives different stats down here. Now I'm going to go with the default setup of generous and optimistic, which I think is pretty good. So we're sort of in between a hard worker and fast learner. So not accelerating in either or, but just sort of right there in the middle. We are more social than we are independent, and each one of these are a little different. And if you hover over, like, you can see what the deal is. Lazy and stressed as well. We're sort of more stressed than lazy. So lazy people will get out of as much work as possible, and so on and so forth. Now I've gone ahead and I've taken down the lead skill here as well as the marketing skill all the way so that I can boost my programming, designer, and artistic abilities, or not abilities but skills, because I think in the beginning that's really important, at least I have found. And we can always bring in a leader and a marketer later in the game to do that stuff. We don't actually have to do that. As far as specializations, I'm going to keep the default of system 2D for art, which I think is fine. What we'll probably end up doing is giving our guys some education early in the game here, so to make up for some of this other stuff. We are going to do an increase from the start of 10,000 to 20,000, just because I want a little bit more starting money. Going to do free play as the scenario. We'll start in 1980. It is worth noting that you can start in 1990, 2000, or 2010, but we're going to go with 1980. Start from the very beginning. And we're going to do an environment of a city, which I think is just more interesting. And I think that's about it. Now you can basically increase or decrease the speed of the game. If you increase this to like 8 days, then it'll be really slow, because you basically go by months, essentially, like, development wise. So in order to speed things up, we're going to do 1 day equals a month. Okay, so that'll just be, make these videos go a little bit quicker. But it is worth noting that if you do want to sort of spread it out and so on and so forth, you can do that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the game here. So let's go ahead and start the game. And that'll bring us to our nice little plot of land here, which I'm guessing will be maybe right here. We'll have to wait and see. But it is, let's see. So if I click the build, yep. So for right here, as you can see, this is our little starting plot. I believe... Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that you could basically take up a lot more of this space. And branch across here and so on and so forth. I've not done it. I've mainly just stayed in my little circle here in my few test runs that I've run. In my few test games that I've done, I've only done a few few years basically, just to get a feel for the game and everything. But I think you can move out as far as the map is to build. But it's also worth noting that you can go up and down. So you can build below ground, and then I think pretty high too. So it is worth noting that there is a lot to expand towards. But what we need to do first is essentially, we're going to go ahead and pause it. And we're going to build up a little office here. And what I kind of want is, so I want double doors, okay? Trying to think of, like, I do want little areas that I can build out offices. I'm just going to start with the construct a rectangular room here. And I think, so if I do 5, if I want like a, wall, and then a double door, and then wall, that'll be 5, 6. So we're going to go 6 by something. Let's go 6 by 6. I think that'll be a nice start here. Not too crazy. We'll go with that. I'm only going to do, let's see. I'm going to just put a desk here. And one right there. And then we're going to take a little bit nicer chair just to keep things a little better. We'll throw down an old computer. We don't have access to the good computers yet because we're still in the 1980s, which had a pretty crappy computer setup. But we're going to go with that. Now, what I want, there's different items here that can help skills. So, for example, like you can put an inbox near your workstation that will basically be helpful for, you can see over here what it boosts. I think I'm going to put a calculator though, because that's going to boost the programming part of this. And that's mainly what we're going to be looking at, I think, for this run through here. Is not accessible, so you do get warnings here. So we do need a door. So where are my doors? Double doors. We're going to go with a nice double glass door right there. And then I don't need anything else from that screen. So if we look at the different furnishes, we do need an AC unit. Now the AC unit's pretty loud, so I'm going to make a offshoot of this building here just to house the AC for right now. And I think what I'll do is I'll put it right there. And this will also double as our break room when and if we pull in a, well, not if, but when we pull in a new employee. Because right now with our single person with us, we don't really need a lot of things. Like bathrooms and all that stuff. We don't need those amenities. When we first start out, we're just going to be doing the bare necessities here. So we got the chair, we got this. We do need to make them accessible, and we also need another temperature gauge here, which is somewhere in here. Function, temperature, there we go, radiator. Need a radiator. Throw down the radiator right there. So we're going to need doors as well to some of these rooms. So let's put down the door here. Just going to do a standard door right there. All right, so we got that situated. Now we can also redecorate these areas. So we do have like a color palette here. So in my exterior, I think I'm going to do... Ooh, I kind of like this like deep cyan here. Not really cyan, like bluish. No, I guess it would be sort of cyan. Let's go with that on the outside. The inside interior, what do we want? So that's the walls. Let's maybe do like a bluish tint. Can we? Or a greenish tint. I kind of like the green. A little darker. Nah. Let's go up a little bit. You know what? That's... Huh. All right, let's do that. And then the floor we'll put in sort of a... kind of like that. How's that look? I don't know. When it comes to interior decorating, I'm not the greatest. So, we'll see. Let's see. Can I get something that's decent? I don't really care much for that. I'm mainly a dark colored kind of person here. Let's see. How about in between? I think that'll be okay-ish, maybe. I don't know. Apply. Enough of that. We're going to go with that, and we want materials here. So the exterior, let's just do, you know what? Let's do something like bricks, maybe concrete. I think that's fine. Indoors here, let's put in, get some waves. That actually doesn't look too bad. I kind of like the, you know what, let's go with the waves. I like the beach. That's fine. And the flooring, I'm going to go with a sort of a board flooring, like a, yeah, wood flooring. And with that in mind, let's change the color then of the floor to sort of a, something that meets that. Which I'm not having any luck with right now. Let's see. I guess it would be over here, right? That looks really bad. It looks very bad, actually. Let's move it over this way. I want sort of a lightish brownish color. Is that alright? I guess that's alright. Let's see. What does that look like? That looks fine. I'll take it. So we're going to make this our default style. So set as default style, and then we will reset. There we go. So now that's matched up there. All right, so once we have that, let's go back to build mode, and we can put down a couple different things, actually. For productivity, again, a bookshelf is pretty nice. Put that in, because that, if you look at it, does increase skill. So that's good. We can put a plant on the desk, because that does boost mood, which is always a nice thing. All right, anything else? Oh, and the wall clock, effectiveness. Let's put the wall clock up. Put it right there. All right, so that's our starting building. We got 8,400 bucks left. I don't think we really need anything else. We got the heat. Everything's good. Excellent. All right, so what's next? Well, we're going to be basically using contracts for a while. Let me manage my staff here. So if I look at the manage employees, here's Scott Tymer. He's pretty good overall. I am going to check on his skills here. Yeah, so 83% is pretty good in all these categories. Obviously, our leader and marketing skill is pretty poor, but in the early game, I don't find that to be super necessary. So when are we going to bring you in? I'm going to increase this to 5 p.m. So I'm going to go from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. just to add a little bit more time of work. So right now, really the only thing we can do is contract work. That's about it. And it's worth noting that, at least in the early game, it is important to do these. Eventually, we're going to be developing our own software and hopefully get something really good that's going to get us a lot of money, and that we can start, expanding our team with that income. But for right now, the only thing we can really do is contracts. And what we'll do is we'll just do contracts until we can build up our money a little bit. And I'm looking at probably around September-ish, start the process of making a piece of software. I'm not sure yet what. I think probably 2D editor, but we'll see when we get there. So let's just look here. So the type here, we got game assets, embedded systems, and game assets. I'm typically usually, not really keen on the game assets one because it's, needs artists, and our starter is not the greatest with art right now. But we're looking for horrible. So the horrible expected quality is good because you get most of your money with very little in terms of expectations. So I think we're going to try to get a couple of those. So let's go ahead and accept that job. And then we will also accept this one. Yeah, that sounds about right. Accept. So we're going to be coming in to work. Let's go ahead and just speed it up. All right, so we got a little bit. So as this is moving up, I'm going to just pause it for a second. So this thing's going to come up here, and as soon as it hits about there, we're going to want to start developing it. Because if you let it wait too long past the green bar, basically the white space disappearing, you'll start degrading its quality. So we don't want that. So I'm going to just let it go, and then just watch it as it hits there. All right, so we're going to start that. And then we're going to code that, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get that done and over with. And there we go. All right, so now we're just going to code it. And we're going to speed through the rest of the day. And there is a button up here, but there's also a setting that you can actually put in, which is right here, auto skip, so that you don't have to actually click that button. It's not on by default, so if you are starting it, it's a good game or good button to know about when you first start here. So that way you're not constantly hitting this button. What it'll do is auto skips the day when you don't have a person working anymore. This one's not quite done yet. This one's ready to be promoted. So we're going to go from the alpha stage into the beta stage, and this is where they look for bugs. And really, we could release this right now. And probably get a decent amount of the money that we were promised. So we got about 8,000. Now, I could have probably made that a little bit better just by fixing those bugs, but it is what it is. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back here, see if I can get anything else. Yep, let's go ahead and accept that job. We're going to prioritize this one, and that way we can get this elevated here shortly. So let's go ahead and promote that to alpha or to beta. Start fixing bugs. Let's go ahead and promote that to alpha as well. I'm going to let this go at least until about 4:30. So we'll start to slow down, and there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and release. We got not much done at all. Holy crap. We could have gotten more with that. Wow. That was not a good one there. Because I think that was like 10,000 or something. I don't know. We'll try to go with a little bit here. Now, there is a review process. I've just been going by this 0.66. But we could always review it, send it to the client, see what they think. We could also do a team one and outsource. Outsourcing costs money. I typically don't like to do that, especially starting out with these contracts, because it costs more money. But when we're actually developing the software, that'll come in handy. The team one, we can have our own guys start doing this, taking a look at like the finished product. Hey, this is awesome according to our guy. Now, it does say that we have a bias, very high positive bias, because that's what he's doing. He's basically critiquing his own work, and we are always biased against what we're actually doing. So that's that. What do we got here? All right, let's go ahead and end this. They are happy with it right as is. So let's promote it. We'll work on those bugs until about 4:30 again, and then we'll go ahead and suggest that get put in there. All right, now let's let it go a little bit longer, get those bugs worked out, and release. 8,900 bucks. And that ends that day. So we're in April, which is fine, I suppose. I kind of want to look at our guy here. So I think what we'll do is we'll go one more day, and we will then do a couple more contracts. We'll wait till tomorrow morning, though. We'll do one more contract, and then I think I'm going to send him to get some education. And the reason being, I kind of need, because I'm planning on doing a 2D editor, and I kind of want to get him maxed out on those skills. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's go ahead and start a new contract here. Yeah, that's fine. Accept that work. That should be okay. And I'm only going to do one because I think I'm going to try to get him out the door finished in one day here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start it up. But yeah, I kind of want to start my project in September. About there. So I think we'll be okay because you send them off for 3 months. Yeah. So I think next month we're going to send you off to get some training. And the way we do that is under here you can select your people. And so we see here that our design is pretty poor right now for 2D. But we're pretty good programming wise, except for network and audio, but those won't come into too much early on. But here we got the design. So if we want to educate this guy, we can go ahead and do programming, make sure you select it, click educate, and then we can do programming. And I want to send you away for 3 months with this little tile here. 3 months, beep. And we want to just go ahead and start that education. So it's going to skip over June, July, and August and bring us back right there in September. So let's go ahead and close that out after this day, of course. So we're going to develop that and just let him try to finish this out before the end of the day. I'm not going to bother reviewing this or anything because I think it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and promote that. And then just spend the rest of the day fixing these bugs, getting this stuff out and done, and then get the money in. Alright, go ahead and release it. So we got about 9 grand, which is pretty good. I'm okay with that. So now he's gonna go away. He's gonna get educated, come back ready to start on a couple of the other projects, and we're gonna jump right into September, or at least I think we are. There we go. All right. So with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and put a cut in the video. When we come back next episode, I'm gonna look at actually developing software. We're going to try to develop I think we're going to try to develop a 2D editor. Now I say that, but I do want to check to see what is out there right now. So there's a lot of 2D editors. What's the most recent one? One that came out in 1980. So one that just came out. Can I get stats on this? It's one thing I've not yet seen. Let's see. Can I new details? Needs features. There we go. Image rendering stock library. So yeah. So there's the most recent release of a 2D editor only has image rendering and stock library. If we were to create a 2D editor with pixel manipulation and a stock, pixel manipulation basically, it might sell very well. That being said, we are going to need to get a couple more programmers, I think. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to probably try to start that next time. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you're going to enjoy this series. If you are, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you're looking for more content, I strongly urge you to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you next time, folks. Bye-bye.